Philadelphia, 1787. The delegates at the Constitutional Convention had just finished drafting a system of government unlike anything that existed. As Benjamin Franklin exited the hall, a woman asked him what kind of government they had created. His answer was brief and ominous: a republic, if you can keep it. The framers intentionally anchored the foundation of the country on three words: we the people. They understood human nature. They knew that a population prone to complacency would inevitably trade its liberty for the perception of comfort. Today, we are conditioned from childhood to believe in a comforting fiction called the social contract. The narrative suggests that playing by the rules, filling out the forms, and acting with quiet compliance ensures that a vast web of federal agencies and local authorities will keep you safe. Relying on the administrative state for survival changes your status. You function as a subject waiting for a hall pass, having abandoned the framework the founders built. If you are ready to learn how to dismantle systemic dependency and reclaim your own authority, hit the subscribe button right now and watch this entire video. The steps for your autonomy are right in front of you. The modern citizen lives within a velvet trap. This exists because of the monolith illusion, the idea that a centralized administrative state manages 300 million lives better than individuals can manage themselves. Over decades, these blocks have formed a massive regulatory moat. Today, an ordinary family sitting at their kitchen table finds their right to heal, survive, or provide for themselves requires permission from a distant bureaucrat. You pay the premiums, your doctor orders the life-sustaining treatment, and a state-backed megacorporation simply stamps the claim denied. When this system is tested, it weaponizes its bureaucracy to protect itself. Consider the case of the terminally ill veteran in state housing. Agencies like the VA and HUD dragged their feet, eventually attempting to coerce an unpaid live-in volunteer into signing a predatory lease that transferred all liability onto her. When she refused, the agencies abandoned her to face a violent situation alone. The pervasive anxiety felt by millions of Americans reflects the documented cost of trading personal autonomy for a manufactured illusion of safety. Responsibility requires heavy lifting. Compliance is simply easier. To understand how we arrived here, we have to look at the link between work and survival. In the early republic, you were an independent economic agent. Your survival was tied directly to your own output and grit. This was followed by the Great Decoupling. Government intervention and the rise of corporate-managed benefits actively severed that link. The American psyche shifted from a producer mindset toward an employee mindset, effectively creating a gilded cage. Congress accelerated this process by handing blank checks of legislative authority to a sprawling alphabet soup of unelected agencies. Lawmakers outsourced their responsibility to permanent bureaucrats operating thousands of miles away from the people they regulate. This framework changes the focus of the human spirit. Instead of asking, "What value can I create today?" the modern individual asks for a paycheck as a permission slip to exist. True security comes from multiple, independent pillars of income. Relying on a single employer or a government entity for survival keeps you in a state of dependency. The administrative state maintains this dependency through a psychological focus on a savior leader. This conditioning tricks citizens into believing that a single political party or a president will eventually rescue the republic. This relies on the dialectic of controlled opposition: problem, reaction, solution. By keeping the population split into two hostile tribes constantly arguing over media-hyped culture wars, the system ensures you stay distracted. The faces in Washington change and the colors trade places, but the permanent bureaucracy, the IRS, the FDA, the Department of Education, quietly expands its budget and unconstitutional jurisdiction entirely untouched. To break this cycle, you have to stop being a passive spectator. You must conduct an audit of your own habits to locate exactly where you are bowing to permission when you should be standing on principle. Click the link in the description right now to start your audit and access our offer designed to help you decouple from the monolith. Voting every 4 years provides a fragile substitute for personal responsibility. Waiting for a political savior allows the administrative machine to continue ruling your life. Reclaiming your sovereignty begins by recognizing that Congress surrendered its power to unelected agencies, leaving citizens buried in fees and centralized mandates. Under Article 1, this authority was never meant to be delegated away. The ultimate check and balance in our constitutional republic rests with the people, the fourth branch of government. You activate that branch locally. This involves supporting local sheriffs and county commissioners who exercise legal authority to stand between the citizen and federal overreach. The second step is active local engagement. When groups of citizens attend city council and school board meetings armed with precise constitutional facts, local officials are forced to listen. Separating arbitrary rules from actual law at the local level is how individuals finally reclaim the system. The true restoration begins in your own home. You must build a local citadel, shifting your economic and social gravity away from national conglomerates and toward trusted local circles. You build this through a precise process. First, you define your vision without asking for permission. Then, you break that vision into rigorous daily milestones. Finally, you execute the unglamorous heavy lifting on the days when there is no applause. This framework must be anchored in core values. You practice radical accountability by eliminating the phrase, "it's not my fault," from your vocabulary. You own the outcome of your life entirely. You treat your long-term goals as non-negotiable commitments to your future self. The protectors have walked away. The safety promised by the social contract is a lie. Reclaiming your sovereignty is a long game of generational endurance. The goal is to leave the next generation a legally, financially, and morally fortified home. You have a choice: remain a managed subject, or begin your own architecture of freedom. Like, share, and subscribe to join the fourth branch. Click the link in the description for tools to build your own local citadel today.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Larson. Get your copy of my new book, Unapologetically Sovereign, on Amazon by clicking the link below this video.